Good morning, everybody. Rick Steele here with another betting tips video for you here on the YouTube channel. We're going to deal with a number of topics touching on in relation to this betting tips video. We're going to talk about value, the misunderstood concept as it relates to value in the sports betting business. We're going to talk about the daily grind and how to best deal with it on this particular video. And having a passion for what you do will help deal with the daily grind of this business. And in addition, we'll talk about variance, part of the daily grind. There's good variance and obviously there's bad variance. So it applies to all of us, and we'll deal with that topic in one brief moment as well. If you haven't already, I would ask you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, PSH Sports Picks, and that will alert you each and every time I update the YouTube channel with a new video. We get the betting tips videos here, giving you the nuts and bolts on how to become a more profitable long-term sports bettor. We also provide you, especially in the NFL season, with picks as well. And my only goal in producing these videos is to do just that. Help you to put you on a few more winners, help you to avoid some losers, but more importantly, giving you the tools and techniques to become a more efficient sports bettor yourself. All that I ever ask for in return, if you could support the channel by smashing the subscribe button before you leave, I appreciate and thank you for that in advance, and that will help support the channel and allow me to continue to take the time and money in producing these videos at the same time. You want to bet what I bet on a daily basis? My picks are always free. They always will be free. You can get those picks two different ways. They're the exact same picks from the homepage of my website, pshltd.com. Or you can also track me on the Betstamp app. My username there is Rick S. No gimmicks, no signups, total transparency. My records are updated, broken down by sport on a daily basis. Want the latest sports betting news in a timely fashion? Follow me across Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. My handle is @RickSteele99. Okay, let's get on to the topics at hand. There's a couple of phrases that you may have heard in sports betting. One is that we bet numbers, not teams. Very accurate as far as that's concerned. And it ties into the topic that we want to talk about, and that is being value. Realize, and this is the toughest concept for most beginners to understand, we don't pick winners of individual games. That's impossible. Nobody can do it on a one-game sample size. So what do? Well, what we do is attempt to find value. And value is the difference between what you set on a particular game, what you've done in your analysis of that game, both from a numerical standpoint and the intangibles involved, and compare it to what the sports books numbers are, what they open up at, and what they move by based on what money comes in from the marketplace. When you have a large enough difference between your line and the sports books number at the current odds, you then have value. If your numbers are very, very close to market, then there is no value, and the dollar amount of that particular bet is zero, simply put. So we bet numbers, not teams, okay? And at the same time, we're not predicting an individual result of an individual game. We simply simulate over a large enough sample size. We'll be able to make money over large enough sample size as far as the difference in what we are betting into that particular game. There's another common myth in handicapping, and that is you should only play dogs. It's an old adage. People still adhere to that principle. And somehow if you bet a favorite, you're a square and you shouldn't be in this business. And I'm here to tell you, people, value is value. If you're handicapping a game and your line is minus 250 or minus 9.5 points, and the line at the book is minus 195 or minus 8 respectively, you have excellent value. Play them. It's simple as that. It's no different. The money is the same whether you win on a prohibitive favorite or you win on a undersized dog. Again, the return is the same. Just adhere to proper betting money management principles. You'll find a separate video devoted to that on my YouTube channel. Sometimes the obvious play is the best play. Take the money, move on. Now, I'm not saying don't play dogs. Of course, there's good bets when you find value in dog bets as well. But playing them exclusively, you're limiting yourself. Your best bets actually come from motivated favorites. I'm also often asked, can Team A beat Team B by 15 points? Well, of course they can. Obviously, they're a superior team. And if they weren't, they wouldn't be favored by 15 points. But the better question that should be asked, will they win by 15, right? Can they? Of course. Will they? Whole nother story. That can only be answered based on your handicapping and also of the intangibles such as revenge, scheduling, rivalries, home away, travel, injuries, etc., etc. Another myth that we find in this business is you can be successful simply by situational handicapping. And I don't agree with that. Yes, it's very important factors that you have to bring into your handicapping, but even situationally, you have to convert those situations into numbers and take those intangibles into effect, and that will come up with that line where you can compare to determine whether you have value or not. You need a number of compelling factors, including the math, obviously, to say whether or not you should place a bet on a particular side or not. Revenge is an overused intangible because just because it's a revenge spot doesn't mean that it's going to come in and cash for you. So, you take that with a grain of salt. If you're going up against such a superior team that is motivated, revenge has no impact at all. And what about the big favorite? Maybe they have a big look-ahead game coming up. Maybe they won't be motivated in order to exact revenge as they normally would. So again, it's just one minor factor in your handicapping of a particular event. No matter how many compelling reasons you have to place a bet, there's always going to be other factors on the other side that are determining that you have to weigh whether you end up with value or not. But the overriding final number, in fact, whether you place a bet or not, is obviously whether or not the number makes sense based on whether you created a difference based on the market number or not. It's not just a factor, it is the main factor in determining your long-term success in this business. We're now well into 4 months of the 2024 betting year. Having a passion for what you do, the time does definitely fly by. MLB season, we're off to a decent enough start as we head into that long journey and marathon. I'm into my 25th year of doing this as my primary source of income. I guess all that means is that I'm pretty old, but better or not, football is going to be quickly approaching. Anyway, time flies as the seasons all meld together. Believe it or not, more bettors go bankrupt in this business during a winning streak than a losing streak. Greed is good. We do want to win every game, obviously. But, the sports books have plenty of money that we want to extract as much as possible. But when you're on a winning streak, people tend to get lazy and fall into bad habits and think they have a invincibility. So don't allow that to happen. Stay the course. Stay constant in your search for value, especially when you're on a hot streak. Conversely, when you're on a losing streak, and it happens to all of us, that's when we're talking about dealing with variance, it feels like even if you had tomorrow's scores, you'd pick the wrong side. You tend to constantly be second-guessing yourself. I do as well. The process becomes too analytical. You start overthinking, and business has an ability to keep you humble and slap you upside the head. So stay humble, stay with your strong work ethic, and you'll work your way through any losing streaks that may happen. What you don't want to do is start pressing, right? And betting games that don't contain value, forcing plays because you think that you can't lose anymore, that regression and variance is going to kick in. You don't want to give away a month's worth of profits over 1 or 2 bad days. So again, stay the course, have a strong mental aspect and approach to this business, and you'll come out of it and return to positive variance as we've talked about. Bad streaks are inevitable. If it's a matter if you're going to be a hard loser and you can't accept the occasional bad beats that will occur, it's going to eat you up. You're going to burn out. Give yourself a few minutes after every game. If you won, to bask in that glory and enjoy it. If you lost, reanalyze, see where you may have went wrong in your handicapping, and move on to the next event. Adhere to proper money management and the betting principles, as you will find detailed in all these betting tips videos that I produce, and you'll do more than survive, you'll actually prosper. Keep your eye on the goal, the long-term goal, consistency, return on investment, and longevity, one of the keys, right? People going. So let's talk about the grind of this business. Work doesn't have to be a 4-letter word when you enjoy what you do. Nothing is perfect, we know. Even this has its ups and downs, and there are days when I wake up, as I do 7 days a week, at 5 o'clock in the morning to start hammering the numbers, where after a bad day, I really don't want to do it, but you work your ways through it. What you want to do, have that passion, have that energy, your pride, enthusiasm, your competitive nature, and you'll be rewarded for your efforts. Can't always control the outcomes, but you can control your effort. Enjoy the process as much as possible, and that will help you to avoid burnout. Sports betting, it's an intellectual pursuit. It's staying one step ahead of the markets. It's constantly changing your approach and challenging you, and making those subtle changes will allow you to stay one step ahead of the market while you adjust and adapt. Sports betting, believe it or not, is good for the soul. It's very satisfying when you're winning, very disappointing when you're losing. Realize the losses are always going to hurt more than the wins. Feel good. That's just the way it goes, right? You expect to win the game. When you win, well, it's an expected outcome. When you lose, it's painful, especially even to this day, after so long being at it, I go through those same emotions, but I'm able to clear the deck and get ready with a clear, objective mind to analyze the next event. Sports betting delivers elation. It delivers depression in short-term doses. Keeps your blood running, that's for sure. Your mind alert. Other than playing the games themselves for yourself personally, there's no other endeavor that I'm aware of that has the competitive nature that this possesses. It's simply off the charts. Sports betting gives you goals and interests with daily deadlines. Life is short, right? We all hear that common phrase. Everyone has responsibilities financially that they must meet. However, it's most sad people work at jobs they simply don't like. They actually get sick on Sundays realizing another week is about to begin. And just again, as far as the exaggeration is concerned, of putting in another 5 days to take 2 days off, to work 50 weeks a year, to take 2 weeks off. So when you find an endeavor, even part-time, that you enjoy, that you can make some money at, do whatever is necessary to succeed. That's the best advice that I can offer. Now, as far as dealing with variance, to conclude this particular betting tips video, the best advice I can give, because obviously, as we've talked about, there's regressions to means, and there's good variance. I'll ignore that part, but obviously, bad variance is the part that, we take into account much more and like to focus on. It's just like the bad beats. We remember those. We don't remember the ones where we were so fortunate, even though our handicapping was wrong, that we were able to cash the ticket. So the best advice I can give as far as keeping an even keel and dealing with variance is get comfortable being uncomfortable. And that's one of the hardest aspects of sports betting, right? I know most of you have heard this before, but to emphasize, no matter how sharp, how good you are at this craft, there's going to be those inevitable bad streaks, and take comfort in knowing everyone goes through them. It's small sample sizes. Over large sample sizes, it's going to even out. Stay humble, adhere to proper money management, and don't ignore the work ethic. There it is. There's the positive part. Every time you lose a bet, it creates an opportunity to learn, right? Go back, take a look, see where you went wrong, and move forward knowing that you got increased knowledge when you handicap that particular type of event as well. I hope you found this betting tips video to be helpful, as we covered a number of topics this particular time. Look out for the next betting tips video. And again, I would appreciate if you could support my YouTube channel by simply clicking on the subscribe button. If you have any questions for me, those can be delivered through Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, or any comments you may like to add on my YouTube channel, feel free to do so. May all the winners be yours, and I'll be back with you shortly with another betting tips video.